Young and the Restless, Phyllis and Kane's steamy comfort ignites sparks. This week, Kane is reeling from a brutal exposé that Newman Media ran about Colin Atkinson, Tristan Rogers, scamming a dying old woman out of her chateau and fortune. The very funds that built Arabesque. That means Kane's company sits on dirty money. The hit piece, ordered by Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, and executed by Adam Newman, Mark Grossman and Chelsea Lawson, Melissa Claire Egan, leaves Kane blindsided. He never thought Victor would actually go that low. But he did. Then Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, grilled Kane about Colin's shady final scam. He swore he knew nothing about it, but things only got worse when Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, stormed in and joined Jill in tearing into him. After Newman Media's hit piece dropped, Lily fumed that her kids would find out their granddad swindled a dying woman, and that their dad built his fortune from that stolen money. Lily said she doesn't even recognize Kane anymore, and told him their kids should walk away from him for good. With Jill urging him to redeem himself and Lily walking out, Chance finally realizes he can't fix this. Heartbroken, he calls Phyllis and tells her he needs to see her right away. It's urgent. Phyllis Summers and Kane Ashby find solace in each other on YandR. Maybe it's revenge. Or maybe it's more. The first person Kane calls after losing everything is Phyllis, which says a lot. Fresh off his takedown by Victor, Adam, and Chelsea, and abandoned by Jill and Lily, Chance turns to the one person who won't judge him. Phyllis. She knows exactly how it feels to lose everything. Phyllis's public humiliation and fallout with her kids, Daniel Romalotti, Michael Graziadei, and Summer Newman, Allison Lanier, left her ostracized. She can relate to Kane's guilt and regret better than anyone. This could mark the beginning of a new chapter for both. One where empathy sparks something deeper. She might comfort him this week, leading to both revenge plans and romance colliding on Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless, shared scars, family schemes, and unrequited love. Phyllis and Kane share more than pain. They both grew up in the shadow of corrupt fathers. They know what it's like to bear the weight of someone else's cons. And both are reeling from rejection. Kane from Lily, Phyllis from Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow. For Phyllis, watching Nick's rekindled connection with Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, stings deeply, reminding her of lost love and what she can't have. That shared heartbreak could bind her and Kane together even more. Phyllis has likely been crushing on Chance for a while, but his devotion to Lily kept him off limits. Now that Lily's done with him, the timing might finally align. Both are broken, both out of options, and both craving connection. And that makes for perfect soap fuel. YandR, from comfort to passion, a turning point ahead. At first, Phyllis and Kane might connect out of pure emotion. Grief, frustration, and need. But their chemistry runs deeper than a one-time escape. They understand each other's pain and mistakes, and that could evolve into something real. Phyllis has always been all in when she commits. And this time, she might prove to Chance that she's not just there for revenge or redemption, but something lasting. Stay tuned to see what happens when Phyllis runs to Chance after his world collapses. This could be the start of a red-hot romance that shakes Genoa City to its core. The halls of Newman Enterprises and Chancellor Communications have never been so tense, yet so intoxicating. Recent developments in The Young and the Restless are heating up, and fans are buzzing about an unexpected alliance. No, more than an alliance, between Phyllis Summers and Kane Ashby. What started as a simple gesture of comfort is now threatening to ignite a spark that could send the drama in Genoa City into overdrive. It all began on a stormy Wednesday evening when Phyllis found herself overwhelmed by the aftermath of Victor Newman's latest manipulations. Victor, as usual, had orchestrated chaos behind the scenes, creating a web of doubt, suspicion, and betrayal. Phyllis, caught in the crossfire of Newman's schemes and her own complex emotions, felt the walls closing in. Her usual fortress of confidence was shaken, leaving her vulnerable, exhausted, and craving solace. Enter Kane Ashby, ever the calm in the storm of Genoa City chaos. Kane, too, had been navigating his own set of troubles. Between personal entanglements and professional setbacks, he had learned that sometimes empathy and understanding are rarer than one would hope. Fate, or perhaps the universe's mischievous hand, brought them together at a pivotal moment. Phyllis had been retreating to her office at Chancellor Communications, seeking a quiet moment to regroup. Kane, knowing the pressures she faced and sensing her unease, knocked gently before entering. Their eyes met, a long, loaded gaze, heavy with unspoken understanding. Without a word, Kane offered her a seat, a cup of coffee, and a listening ear. It was a simple gesture, Yet in it lay the weight of genuine concern, the kind of connection Phyllis hadn't felt in a long time. As the rain poured outside, the office lights casting a warm glow around them, the conversation turned personal. Phyllis spoke of the constant demands of her career, of Victor's relentless control, and of the loneliness that seemed to shadow her life despite her many accomplishments. Kane listened, attentive and unjudging, offering comfort not through platitudes but through shared understanding. He knew what it was like to feel trapped, to face obstacles that seemed insurmountable. And in that moment, their vulnerabilities intertwined, creating a cocoon of intimacy that closeness came gradually, naturally. Kane's hand brushed against Phyllis's as he handed her the coffee cup, sending a shiver up her spine. She looked up, eyes meeting his, and for a heartbeat the world outside faded. It wasn't just about comfort anymore. There was an undeniable chemistry simmering beneath the surface, a magnetic pull that neither could resist. Their laughter, initially light and tentative, grew softer, more intimate. Every glance, every subtle touch carried the weight of possibilities, of what-ifs that loomed like sparks waiting to ignite. Phyllis, who had spent years navigating tumultuous relationships and manipulations, found herself letting her guard down. Kane, with his calm demeanor and innate charm, became her anchor. In return, Phyllis offered Kane a side of herself few had seen, tender, vulnerable, and craving connection. It was a rare moment of genuine human closeness in a city defined by scheming and betrayals. As the evening wore on, the storm outside mirrored the emotions building between them. Thunder rumbled, yet inside the office, a different kind of storm brewed. A casual brush of hands evolved into a lingering touch. Kane's fingers grazed Phyllis's cheek, not with intent, but with an undeniable tenderness. Phyllis leaned slightly into his hand, a silent acknowledgement of the comfort, and perhaps more that he brought. The energy between them crackled like static electricity, playful, tentative, yet undeniably charged. And then, in a moment that sent the air thick with tension, Kane leaned in just enough for their lips to hover. It was not yet a kiss, but the closeness was enough to make hearts race. Both seemed acutely aware of the consequences, the complications of a burgeoning attraction amid the tangled web of their lives. Yet neither could resist the magnetic pull, the way each had found solace in the other's presence. It was a connection born not of lust alone, but of shared experience, empathy, and unspoken understanding. What makes this budding spark even more fascinating is the timing. Phyllis's tumultuous history with Victor Newman, her ongoing entanglements with Nick, and Kane's complex past with Lily Abbott create a perfect storm for high-stakes drama. Fans are already speculating. Will this connection blossom into romance? Or will external pressures, jealousies, and misunderstandings drive them apart before anything deeper can develop? One thing is certain. The chemistry is undeniable, and the storylines promise to keep viewers on the edge of their seats. Social media is buzzing with speculation, with fans posting everything from reaction memes to heartfelt predictions. Some see Kane as a stabilizing force in Phyllis's life, a safe harbor amid the chaos. Others argue that their respective histories and current entanglements make this a risky, potentially explosive connection. Regardless, the emotional tension is palpable, and viewers can't help but be drawn into the intensity of their interactions. Critics of the show have pointed out that this kind of slow-burn tension is a classic soap opera move, but The Young and the Restless has a knack for layering complexity onto relationships, making every glance, every touch, and every whispered word carry weight. Phyllis and Kane's dynamic exemplifies this. It's not just about physical attraction. It's about emotional resonance, shared vulnerabilities, and the tentative hope that two flawed people can find comfort in each other amidst chaos. Already, spoiler alerts hint at upcoming office encounters, late-night heart-to-hearts, and accidental moments of closeness that will fuel fan speculation for weeks. Will Phyllis finally find a partner who matches her intensity, ambition, and emotional depth? Could Kane be the one to balance her fiery spirit with calm support? Or is this just a fleeting moment of connection, a temporary escape from the pressures of Genoa city life? One thing is indisputable. The writers are expertly weaving layers of tension, empathy, and romance to keep audiences engaged. Phyllis and Kane's storyline taps into something universal: the need for human connection in moments of vulnerability. Fans are emotionally invested because they see themselves in these moments, feeling the thrill, the uncertainty, and the hope of finding someone who truly understands them. As the week unfolds, viewers can expect more intimate scenes, charged glances, and subtle moments of flirtation that will leave the audience guessing. Will Kane reach out when Phyllis is at her lowest? Will Phyllis admit to herself the growing feelings she can no longer deny? The potential for dramatic confrontations with Victor, Nick, and Lily adds a delicious layer of complexity, ensuring that every moment they share is fraught with tension and excitement. In Genoa City, where power plays and betrayals are the norm, the simple act of finding comfort in another person becomes revolutionary. Phyllis and Kane are reminding us that in the midst of chaos, genuine human connection, even fleeting, can ignite sparks powerful enough to alter the course of lives. Whether this connection grows into something more or remains a tantalizing flirtation, one thing is certain: viewers won't be able to look away. The Young and the Restless has always been a master of blending intrigue, romance, and drama. Phyllis and Kane's storyline exemplifies that brilliance, showing that even the most seasoned players in Genoa City are not immune to the pull of human connection. Their steamy comfort session isn't just a moment of warmth. It's a catalyst for emotions, revelations, and perhaps a romance that could redefine their futures. As the rain subsides outside and the city lights glimmer through office windows, one can only imagine what comes next. Will a shared cup of coffee turn into something more? Will stolen glances become whispered confessions? Or will external forces intervene, forcing them apart just as they begin to discover what they mean to each other? Fans will be watching, hearts in throats, as Phyllis and Kane navigate the thin line between comfort, desire, and destiny. One thing is for sure: sparks have ignited, and nothing in Genoa City will ever be the same. In the tumultuous world of Genoa City, few people have endured as many trials as Phyllis Summers. The resilient and often fiery businesswoman has faced heartbreak, betrayal, and endless drama, yet somehow she always emerges stronger, or at least wiser. Recently, however, Phyllis found herself at a crossroads once again. The weight of family struggles, romantic turmoil, and business pressures had begun to take a toll, leaving her feeling vulnerable and exhausted. Enter Kane Ashby, a man no stranger to pain himself. Kane's life has been marked by deception, complex family entanglements, and heartbreaks that cut to the core. Yet beneath his composed exterior lies a man capable of profound empathy. As fate would have it, these two kindred spirits, each navigating their own storms, discovered a quiet understanding in one another, a connection that began to bloom amid the chaos of Genoa City. It started subtly, almost imperceptibly. Phyllis had been navigating yet another storm with Victor Newman, whose suspicions and manipulations never seemed to wane. Kane, ever the reliable confidant, noticed her unease. There was a softness in his gaze, a patient willingness to listen without judgment. At first, their conversations were purely circumstantial: business matters, family gossip, or shared frustrations over mutual acquaintances. But slowly, the walls they had built around themselves began to crumble. One evening, after a particularly grueling day at the company, Phyllis found herself seeking Kane's company. She hadn't realized how much she needed someone to simply hear her, without offering solutions or lectures. Kane, understanding the delicate balance between support and intrusion, offered only a steady presence. They sat in Kane's office, the city lights of Genoa City casting a muted glow through the blinds, and for the first time in what felt like forever, Phyllis allowed herself to breathe. "I don't know why it's so hard this time," she admitted quietly, her voice tinged with exhaustion. "Everything feels overwhelming." Kane leaned back, his gaze calm and unwavering. "Phyllis, you've carried so much on your own. Maybe it's okay to let someone in, even just a little." The simplicity of his words struck her. There was no judgment, no expectation, just an acknowledgement that she didn't have to face the world alone. And for Phyllis, who had long prided herself on her independence, that was a rare and precious gift. As days turned into weeks, their bond deepened. What had started as solace and quiet understanding began to carry the warmth of shared laughter, mutual respect, and subtle flirtations that neither could ignore. Phyllis, who had long been accustomed to the highs and lows of passionate entanglements, found something refreshingly steady in Kane. He didn't demand her heart, he simply offered a safe space where it could heal. Yet, as with any relationship in Genoa City, peace was fleeting. Rumors began to swirl. Whispers of a new alliance forming, of late-night meetings, and gentle touches that lingered a little too long. Phyllis's enemies, both personal and professional, were quick to seize on the connection as fodder for intrigue. Victor, ever vigilant and suspicious, noticed her quiet moments of distraction and began to probe, sensing that something, or someone, had captured her attention. Despite the external pressures, Kane remained her anchor. One rainy afternoon, as they shared an umbrella outside crimson lights, Phyllis confessed a long-buried fear. I don't want to hurt anyone again. I can't keep doing this to myself. Kane's hand brushed hers, a tentative but comforting gesture. You won't hurt me, Phyllis. I'm not going anywhere. And maybe that's exactly what we both need, someone who stays even when it's messy. His words resonated, reaching a part of her she had long kept guarded. For the first time in a long while, she allowed herself to imagine a future where she could lean on someone without guilt or fear of betrayal. There was no grand declaration, no sweeping romance yet, just the quiet assurance that, in Kane, she had found someone who understood her chaos and didn't flinch. Their connection began to influence other areas of their lives. Phyllis, energized by Kane's steady presence, approached her business with renewed clarity. Kane, inspired by her resilience and wit, found a renewed sense of purpose. Together, they navigated the treacherous waters of corporate politics and family entanglements, their alliance strengthening with each shared challenge. Yet, the emotional depth of their bond could not remain hidden. A chance encounter with Nikki Newman revealed the tender undercurrents between Phyllis and Kane. Nikki, protective of both her friend and family, watched the subtle glances and unspoken exchanges, realizing that this connection was more than mere friendship. While supportive, she cautioned Phyllis to tread carefully. In Genoa City, vulnerability often came at a cost. Phyllis, however, was undeterred. She recognized that this bond with Kane was different, grounded not in desperation or fleeting passion, but in mutual respect, understanding, and shared experiences. One evening, as they reviewed a critical business proposal, their hands brushed across the table. There was no grand gesture, just a quiet acknowledgement of the closeness they had cultivated. I don't know where this will go, Phyllis admitted, her voice softer than usual. But for now, I just want to be here. With you. Kane smiled, a rare and genuine warmth lighting his features. That's more than enough, Phyllis. Right here, right now, it's perfect. In the weeks that followed, their bond became a refuge from the storms of Genoa City. Kane's unwavering support provided Phyllis with the emotional stability she had long craved, while Phyllis's fierce intelligence and passion reminded Kane of life's vibrancy beyond responsibility and duty. Together, they formed an unspoken partnership, a delicate balance of solace, laughter, and quiet understanding. Of course, Genoa City is never without its trials. Old flames, jealous rivals, and unforeseen complications tested the limits of their connection. Yet each challenge only seemed to reinforce their commitment to one another, not necessarily romantically, but as confidants and pillars of support. In a world where trust is rare, Phyllis and Kane had found a rare gem. Someone who sees you, really sees you, and stays. As viewers watch this developing storyline unfold on The Young and the Restless, it becomes clear that Phyllis Summers and Kane Ashby have tapped into a profound truth. Sometimes, the most powerful love isn't about grand gestures or sweeping declarations. It's about finding solace in another's soul, a safe harbor amidst life's storms. Phyllis and Kane may not have all the answers, nor the certainty of a perfect happily ever after, but for the first time in a long time, they have something invaluable. A connection that heals, uplifts, and endures. In a city defined by betrayals, secrets, and chaos, this quiet alliance stands out. A testament to the idea that even amidst the most dramatic lives, solace and understanding can still be found. For fans of YandR, the evolving dynamic between Phyllis and Kane promises to be a storyline filled with emotional depth, subtle tension, and the quiet thrill of seeing two complex souls find comfort in one another. Whether their connection blossoms into romance or remains a treasured friendship, one thing is certain. In each other, they have found a rare and precious shadowed halls of Genoa City, where power, passion, and secrets collide. Every smile can hide a dagger, and every gesture of kindness can be a strategic move in someone's private war. Today, the whispers of old wounds and unspoken betrayals ripple through the Newman and Abbott empires, igniting fires that could scorch even the closest of family ties. Victor Newman sits in his private office at Newman Enterprises, his usual air of commanding authority slightly frayed. The weight of suspicion presses down on him like a physical force. Recent events have awakened a gnawing doubt, one that even his vast business acumen cannot immediately unravel. His sharp eyes, usually so precise in dissecting every deal and every threat, linger on Phyllis Summers' latest actions. The woman he once trusted, who had shared laughter and secrets, now seemed to him a puzzle with too many missing pieces. Phyllis, on the other hand, is in turmoil, caught in the crossfire of her own choices and the legacy of her family ties. Her heart is a battlefield of loyalty, guilt, and unfulfilled longing. She's drawn to Billy Abbott in ways she never fully admitted, not even to herself. Yet, every step she takes toward him feels like stepping deeper into quicksand. Her past misdeeds with Victor and the Newman dynasty threatening to pull her under at any moment. She longs for honesty, yet the fear of heartbreak and exposure paralyzes her. The emotional turmoil is written across her face in subtle tremors, and in the moments when she can't meet the gaze of those who love her most. Meanwhile, Billy Abbott, ever the loyal yet impulsive son, navigates his own storm. His heart beats to the rhythm of a love that feels both right and forbidden. Billy's admiration for Phyllis is intertwined with guilt, a sense that every stolen glance or moment of connection is a betrayal to both family and social expectation. He tries to focus on work on the Abbott empire, but the intensity of his feelings for Phyllis colors every decision. Every word he speaks to her, every act of care, carries an undertone of confession he isn't yet ready to voice. But Genoa City is never content to let emotions run unchecked. Unbeknownst to Phyllis and Billy, a web of schemes has been quietly spun, and family rivalries are ready to explode. Jack Abbott, ever the protective brother, has noticed the subtle signs. The lingering looks, the slight blushes, the unsaid words between his sister-in-law and brother. His mind races with possibilities and potential disasters. Jack has always been a strategist, a protector, and now he is forced to weigh the threat of unbridled desire against the delicate balance of family loyalty. Across town, the Newman family bears its own scars. Victoria Newman, long the mediator in her family's internal storms, faces her own trials. Her heart is secretly tethered to someone she cannot openly love, someone whose past entanglements with her family could ignite chaos if revealed. Her unrequited love is a silent ache, a private wound she keeps beneath polished smiles and business meetings. Victoria knows all too well the danger of letting emotion dictate action in a city where power and love are dangerously entangled. Yet, despite her efforts to maintain control, every passing moment with her secret love reminds her that even the strongest steel can bend under heat. In this maelstrom, secrets multiply, alliances shift, and loyalties are tested. Phyllis finds herself torn between the magnetic pull of Billy's devotion and the looming shadow of Victor's suspicions. Her every choice is scrutinized, every smile dissected. She knows that a single misstep could unleash a chain reaction of betrayal and pain, not just for herself but for everyone tangled in the intricate web of Newman and Abbott dynamics. Meanwhile, Billy wrestles with the duality of his existence. He longs for a future where his love for Phyllis can flourish without fear, yet he is acutely aware that the family, society, and history itself may never permit such a union. Every conversation with Phyllis is both a comfort and a torment, filled with the joy of connection and the agony of knowing it may be fleeting. He contemplates bold declarations, yet caution whispers in his ear, reminding him that Genoa City rarely rewards unguarded hearts. And just when the emotional pressure seems unbearable, another twist emerges. A long-buried secret from the past surfaces, threatening to reshape the entire landscape of alliances and rivalries. The revelation sends shockwaves through both Newman and Abbott circles, forcing every character to confront the truth of shared scars. Betrayals long hidden come to light, and the delicate facades maintained for decades begin to crumble. Phyllis realizes that her choices cannot exist in a vacuum. Every act, every confession, has consequences that ripple far beyond her immediate world. As the tension escalates, unrequited love drives characters to acts both courageous and reckless. Victoria's quiet longing for her secret partner leads her to subtle interventions that could either prevent disaster or ignite it. Billy's devotion to Phyllis inspires moments of bravery, yet also threatens to ignite familial fires he cannot control. Phyllis herself navigates a labyrinth of emotion, strategy, and desire, struggling to reconcile her heart with the reality of her world. Family schemes add another layer of complexity. Jack's protective instincts clash with his own ambitions, creating a tension that threatens to fracture the Abbott family. Victor's suspicion becomes a looming presence, his sharp mind piecing together fragments of truth that may soon lead to confrontations none are ready to face. Even secondary players, those who live in the shadows of power and wealth, find themselves drawn into the maelstrom, their motives often as opaque as their loyalties. Ultimately, in Genoa City, love and ambition, loyalty and betrayal, desire and restraint coexist in a delicate and combustible balance. Every interaction, every word carries weight. Every character carries the scars of the past and the burden of choices yet to come. The emotional stakes are monumental, and the consequences of missteps are both personal and public. In the world of the young and the restless, shared scars bind characters in ways both painful and profound. Family schemes threaten to undo the bonds of trust, while unrequited love tests the limits of patience and endurance. It is a world where emotion and strategy collide, where hearts are both weapons and casualties, and where every day brings the potential for revelation, confrontation, and perhaps redemption. As the city buzzes with hidden tension, whispered secrets, and unspoken longings, one truth remains clear. In Genoa City, no love is simple, no betrayal is permanent, and no scar is ever truly private. Phyllis, Billy, Victoria, Victor, Jack, and every player in this intricate drama must navigate a landscape where emotion and ambition intersect, where shared scars create bonds as much as they create pain, and where the search for love and loyalty remains an endlessly treacherous journey. The stage is set, the players are poised, and the next act in this ongoing saga promises heartbreak, revelation, and perhaps, in the quietest moments, a fragile glimpse of hope.